They gave me 72 hours to sell the cabin I built with my late wife, so I gave them 30 days to pay rent on land they didn't even own. Funny how fast the tone changes when you remind someone the dirt under their feet ain't theirs. It started with a rumble, one of those low vibrations that crawls up your boots before you hear it. I was on the second floor of my cabin, swapping out an old vent cover, when I felt it. Thought it was a storm rolling in, or maybe a semi passing down by the creek road. But when I looked out the window, it was yellow, loud, and coming straight for me. A damn backhoe, bucket raised, aimed at the southeast corner of my home, the same corner my wife sketched by lantern light while battling chemo, the same place our son Luke took his first steps on unfinished floors. I flew down those stairs so fast I barely remembered touching them. Out the door, past the gravel, straight to two smug guys in safety vests, one with a clipboard, the other tapping on a tablet like he was defusing a bomb. "You want to tell me what the hell this is?" I asked, trying not to scream. "Preliminary demolition," the clipboard guy said. "Structure flagged under the green overlay." "I'm not in your damn HOA," I growled. He didn't even blink. "You are now, according to the updated map." That's when Debbie Mercer showed up. HOA Queen Bee, oversized sunglasses, clipboard of her own. Walked up like she owned the whole mountain. "Mr. Wyatt," she smiled, like we were about to negotiate spa treatments. "Let's not make this personal. This is just the natural process of community inclusion." "Inclusion?" I snapped. "You're literally bulldozing my home." "Just the eastern edge," she shrugged. "It encroaches on shared development space. This entire property is mine." "Was," she said, eyes twinkling. "We voted last quarter to rezone this area for sustainability." "You voted," I said, "with no opposition, because you ran unopposed." She smiled wider. "Democracy's messy." I wasn't smiling. Luke appeared behind me barefoot, phone in hand. "You filming this?" I muttered. "Because you should." Debbie offered me a spot on the board. Said if I'd accepted, we could have handled this internally. I told her I knew exactly what she'd pull the second I signed anything. She gave me 72 hours to vacate the non-compliant section of my land or face legal action. I reached into my jacket, pulled out the original deed, and showed her exactly how long this land's been mine. She didn't like that. Her goons backed off for now. But when Luke and I went back inside, power was already out. That's when I knew. They weren't just trying to evict me. They wanted to erase me. They thought flipping a breaker would break me. But I've survived snowstorms with nothing but a kerosene lamp and a picture of my wife in a canteen pouch. They had no idea who they were messing with. Luke and I ran a quiet perimeter that night. No talking, just counting steps, checking old markers, noting broken branches. At 2:16 a.m., one of the trail cams lit up. 3 figures, HOA vests. One had bolt cutters. Another held blueprints. The third, Robert Clay. The man who helped pour the concrete when we built this place. The man who toasted Sarah's life at her memorial. The man I trusted enough to name on the deed as a witness. That hurt more than the bulldozer. I didn't get angry. I got focused. Spent the next morning in the county archive, digging through old lease permits, zoning charts, and handwritten boundary maps. And there it was. The HOA's entire office sat on land that was never legally annexed. In fact, it was mine, leased decades ago under my grandfather's name. Rent had never been paid, and I had the original paperwork to prove it. So I did what any man protecting his legacy would do. I sent 3 letters, one to Debbie, one to the county board, and one to the town paper. The letter to Debbie was hand-delivered. The kid at the HOA desk looked like he'd seen a ghost. "Is this like Legal stuff? He asked. I just nodded. 12 hours later, their internal chat exploded. Do we owe back rent? Who approved the lease? Karen, where are you? Debbie tried to rally her board, so I walked into their emergency meeting like I owned the place. Because I did. You're meeting in a building on my land, I said. Here's the deed, here's the clause, and here's the new rent rate. You've got 30 days. Debbie turned red, spat words like retaliation and harassment. I kept calm. That's more notice than you gave me. The board members started turning. One wanted a second opinion. Another asked why Debbie hadn't disclosed this. A third muttered, How did legal miss this? I didn't need to speak again. Just nodded at the reporter standing in the doorway, recorder in hand. That night, they cut our power again. But this time, they mounted a surveillance camera where my mailbox used to be. Red light blinking like a taunt. Luke brought me a flyer. HOA letterhead. Bold letters. Public safety notice. Said I was hostile under federal investigation and living in an unsafe structure. None of it was true. 2 days later, a county official pulled into our drive. Clipboard, slacks. Looked like someone's uncle. Said they'd received a child welfare complaint. Anonymous. Alleged neglect. Environmental instability. Psychological stress. He was polite. Cold. Professional. Luke overheard it all. She said I wasn't safe, he whispered after they left. She doesn't even know me. That was the last line for me. You don't go after a man's home, and you damn sure don't go after his kid. I made 3 more calls. My lawyer, a county ethics contact, and an old friend from my days in forestry who now worked in private investigations. I sent them footage, timestamps, the drone captures, and the CPS interview transcript. I didn't accuse her. I just showed the facts. 2 days before the rent deadline, Debbie rolled up in person, tires screeching, binder thick as a novel in her hand. She stormed up the porch and slammed it down. Cease and desist notices. Threats. Accusations I'd hacked their HOA records. You're spiraling, I said calmly. Where's your board now? She flinched, didn't answer. You want war, Wren, she snapped. You've got one. No, I said, I've got my porch back. That night they dumped a truckload of mulch in our driveway. No note. Just a hill of bark and pettiness. Next morning I found an envelope. Handwritten. One word on the front. Confession. Inside. 5 pages. Debbie's handwriting. She'd lost control, she said. Didn't know how to stop. She confessed to falsifying zoning reports, bribing an inspector, and, this one hit hardest, faking my late wife's signature on a beautification form. I turned it in to the county commissioner. Didn't say much. Didn't need to. Within a week, the HOA was dissolved. Debbie vanished. Robert tried to come back, hammer in hand, said he wanted to help fix the porch. Luke shut the door in his face. We don't need your hammer, he said, or your guilt. So no, I didn't win because I yelled louder. I won because I outlasted them. I played their game by the rules they ignored, and all because they gave me 72 hours and forgot who owned the ground under their feet. So who really owned who?